In today's video, we are going to cover the title Calculate a Total, and we will be looking at the subtitles within it, which are the sum total, which type of loop to use, and program structure. All of these are found on page 222. Also, we are going to cover whether it is in pseudocode, flowchart, or Python, and these are on page 223. Let's start. Calculate a total. Now we are going to start with the first point, which is sum total. We previously talked about count how many. We previously said that the count variable, for example, gives us the number of students in a class, and it keeps counting until it gives us the final count. However, the sum total is different. Here we have the number variable that we input and the sum variable, which is 0. So whenever we input a number, the total of the numbers that we input will be in the sum variable. Now let's move to the next point, which is which type of loop you use. We have two types of loop: condition-controlled loop and counter-controlled loop. Let's start with the condition-controlled loop. So what is condition-controlled loop? For example, if a person is at the supermarket, once they are done, they have to pay the bill. This bill includes the items that the person bought. So when we add each item on its own and we keep adding items, this is condition-controlled loop. For example, look at the bill. The first item is 4.55. Then the second item is different with a different price. So it keeps adding until we get the total. So condition-controlled loop is adding different items that have different prices. Now let's talk about the counter-controlled loop. What is counter-controlled loop? For example, if we have a student who is studying for a test, once the student finishes the test and the teacher is correcting the test, then she will add the points together. She will not add anything else in order to get the total of the test. She will only add points or grades. This is counter-controlled loop. So when we are adding the same items or the same things, we use counter-controlled loop. And when we are adding different items or things, we use condition-controlled loop. Now let's talk about the program structure. So now we have the sum, which is a variable, and we always start with 0. And we will have another variable, which is carry on, and it will have the value y. That means whenever I want to add, I will click on y, which is yes. And we will have the number which we will input when we want to add. So when we click on y, we will have a loop because it will add the old number with the new number. And this loop could be a conditioned loop or a controlled loop. So when it goes in the loop, it will add. It will add the old number, which is 0, with the new number that I input, which is 1. Then it goes back to the carry on to see if I clicked on y. If I click on y, then I have to input a number in order to add it. So let's say I input the number 1. It will go back to the sum in order to add the old number 1 with the new number 1 as well. Then it goes back to the carry on. If I did not click on y, then it will end here and it will give me the sum total, which is in this case 2.